All right, hello. We are in deep space because we have a crew of us and we're going to review The Human Frontier. It's a Big Finish audio, brand new, not affiliated with any franchise that we are familiar with. Brand new, and it's science fiction, like space science fiction with an incursion and the human invading another planet. And so I've got two Earthmen here with me who would like to address this. And I'm interested to find out what they thought. This is Geeks Assembled Audio Heads, and we are reviewing The Human Frontier. Please, let's begin with Jake. What did you think of this?
I don't understand all the hype this audio got when it was released. I found it was a mishmash of every science fiction trope you can think of. You've got We're the Alien scenario, we've got Infected, we've got Ark in Space, we've got Alien, we've got Deep Space Odyssey, it all together. And to me, I don't think it was interesting at all. I was not invested in it for the main reason for I've seen all of this before in other things. Why do I need to listen to an audio of it? Perhaps it would have been better as a Doctor Who box set, to be honest, because at least you would have something remotely interesting in it. There's not any way to dig at Nicholas Briggs or anything, but I don't think you can really, me personally, attract an audience and interest them when you're just getting every trope imaginable in science fiction and mashing it all into one thing. I don't think it necessarily works very well, especially when all squished into 1 hour episode.
All right. That's an interesting beginning. And over to you, Lee. What's your opening thoughts?
Well, this is, the part we listened to was The Possibility of Life, which is the opening episode of this saga. I sort of agree with what Jake's saying. Is there is a lot of sci-fi tropes in this, but also it's confusing. There's too many flashbacks. Okay, the pair of astronauts, or whatever, the explorers, the lesbians. We don't need to be reminded every flashback that the lesbians, the falling in love. That sort of side of the story could have been told as the saga went along. You didn't have to keep it on flashback, and just get on with the story. But no, it was flashback, then back again. And to be honest, I didn't feel anything for the two main characters. Just nothing. I felt more for the two male characters. Is it a president or something? I can't remember what his name was now. Who woke up with the murdered body in the bedroom. I felt more for them because there was a bit more going on that story side. But for me, the two main female characters, I don't know, they were blank. But I do like the atmosphere of the storytelling, the soundscapes. You do feel like you're out in space. The spacesuits, the helmets, they've got up to a too. They really have. The sound effects. You do feel like claustrophobic in space. It works so well, but I don't know. I don't think it's the acting. I think it, and I'm sorry to say, Nicholas Briggs, I think it might be the writing. I don't know. It's a difficult one, this one. Some things I liked, but more I didn't like. You know what I mean? There was my dislikes outweighed the likes in this one. Back over to you.
All right. Well, not to disagree, but I totally disagree with both of you. I thought that this was really, it was quite interesting how they built the worlds. They built the spaceship with an AI. So that was I mean, it's been done a million times, but this time it was like the AI was broken, and because of the incursion. And then there was the captain and the exobiologist who were you know, building a relationship. She had the captain had cleared the way for this relationship to actually kind of work, and that was hard to at the end. No spoilers, because if you're watching this, you will have maybe even listened to the whole thing. But the spaceship or the spacesuit was empty, so been gone, eaten, destroyed, demolished. And so they had to make that, they had to compress that relationship building into this one spot, because the disappearance of one of the crew, the XO, was kind of incredibly intense. And the fact that she disobeyed the captain and went her own way, that was and tried to save the captain also, and basically killed some life forms on this planet. That was also really incredible. And then the whole situation with the president, and Brett Triton, which was they had to burn Brett. And I mean, there are so many like twists and turns. It isn't boring. It isn't. There were a lot of flashbacks, but I think that was because they had to get to the point where you were like, oh no, when the spacesuit was empty. I mean, you had to gulp at that moment, and that's why they did that. So my favorite moments are the fighting of the aliens on the planet, because that soundscape was unbelievable. Like, it got my heart racing. It was super fun. And so over to you, Jake. What do you have any favorite moments, or is it all what if you don't like stuff?
Right, my main, I'm going to agree exactly with what Lee said. The flashbacks were too confusing. I was so confused during this whole hour of audio. When you do flashbacks, you have to do them properly. I don't think this audio did them properly at all. They always meshed into one thing, to the point where I didn't really know what I was listening to. And then we got the main characters. I didn't find the main characters interesting at all. I'm sorry, but you can't make two characters lesbian and make them interesting. It doesn't work like that. You need a lot of build-up to these characters. And I think if we watered down the flashbacks a bit and spent more time with them as they are presently, I'd have probably grown more attached to them. But I like both Lee and Susan have said, the sound design on it was beautiful. I just think it was heavily let down with how confusing, and I'm going to be honest, a little bit lackluster characters as well. I wasn't really invested. I wasn't like, oh, that's tense. As Susan brought up the spacesuit bit at the end, I was like, I've seen that before. I'm not like, oh my God, she disappeared. I'm like, oh, that's right. It is not an audio that makes me want to listen to the rest, which I'm probably not going to. And like I said, I'm not having a go at Nicholas Briggs. I just think some stuff can be hit and miss. This definitely, for me, is a miss.
All right, Lee.
Yeah, well, favourite moment, I'd say the soundscape, I've already said that. The moment when they discovered the little creatures darting away from them, so they discovered that they had bigger prey, then they found the bigger prey. That was a good sort of section. I do like the actor Mark Elstob. He played the president's aide. He's also known for playing the prisoner in the Big Finish audios.
True.
He's a brilliant actor. For me, he was the outstanding, portrayal in this. And he wasn't in it much, but for me, as soon as his voice came across, caught my ears, I thought, oh, great, something's going to happen here because he's a brilliant actor. And yeah, and of course it did, with the president and that. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a miss as well, to be honest. It just didn't grab me. I agree with what Jake said. He said the word lackluster, and that's what I think is what, just for this part one, was lackluster. And if you've got a 4-part box set, part one needs to grab you to make you listen to the other 3 parts. And it just didn't, I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this was rushed through for release. I don't know. In these uncertain times of releasing audios, it just, I don't know. It just, it just, you feel, you think that's a brilliant audio. It just didn't do it for me. Over to you, Susan.
All right. Well, again, I liked the casting. The casting was great. There was Pepper Lunusk was the exographer, Anna Swift. They named the planet after her. That was fun. Commander Daisy Bailey was Genevieve Gaunt, and Lucy Briggs Owen was Nilly, the AI, and Clive Wood was Brett Triton. Nicholas Briggs played Hans Dedrick, and Mark L. Staub, like Lee said, played Bob Harrigan, who didn't want to be known as Bob, and Malden Gray, who was the president's assistant, and also Oliver. So yeah, it was a great cast, and the compressed relationships. I didn't know that I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, when the seer was discovered gutted on the bed, and the guy had apparently had sex with her, and then something happened, and then she was killed. I mean, like that. Maybe he killed her. Maybe there's so many things that are kind of dangling, and that's fun, and that'll keep me listening to the next one. And there are 3 more in this box set, and so I guess I will save these fellows the trouble of listening to them again, but I'm going to continue on, and I really enjoyed it. So let's do anything else, fellas. Let's open the floor a little bit.
Well, I'm not a prude, right? I'm not a prude, but I think the sex stuff was too much in this story. You didn't need it, to be honest. I mean, I can sit down and watch things on TV, or I can listen to the sexual things on audio or whatever, but I don't think it needed this.
But that's an issue that I was finding when listening to it. I couldn't help but think this was made a much better TV series than audio because of how visual something like this is, and that's why.
Would you fellas think that it would have been better had it been men?
No, I would rather have had an older female as the lead for this. I think it is the right story to be female-led, but I don't think I'd have preferred it to have been an older female be the lead, like in Alien with Sigourney Weaver sort of thing. I think this sort of story would have fitted a more older female than the 2 characters that we got. That's not That's,
I
that's
get,
what I think.
can I
Does
just,
that make any sense for 900-year transits in cryosleep, Jake?
Well, yeah, don't give a shit how old the person is in cryosleep. They're going to get cryosleep anyway, whatever age they are.
But the older you are in
I,
cryosleep, the closer you are to death.
yeah, but I'd still think it'd have been better with someone in like their 50s as the main lead than two younger people. Because we get a lot of stuff with young people in the lead, and it does get a little bit boring to a certain point. That's why I'd think this story would have been much better with an older female lead. Like, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. But like, I'm sure Lee can agree with where I'm coming from.
yeah, yeah, can I just point out that Sigourney Weaver, when she did Alien, was quite young.
Yeah, she was like 25.
But she is older now.
You know where I'm coming from, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Listen, the science of cryosleep is that unless you do it before the age of 35, you'll die. The cryo will kill you. I mean, that's just science.
But this is what I didn't like about it. All too many things what have been done before. The cryosleep thing, Alien,
the AI thing with Space Odyssey.
Come on, Space Odyssey. It was just saying, oh yeah, we've done that. We've nicked this from here. We've nicked that from there. And you're thinking, I thought, is this a bit of lazy writing? And I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
No, like what I said earlier, nothing against Nick Briggs, like hit or miss, and this was a miss. It wasn't it wasn't a horrible script. I just wasn't invested in it. I don't think it was enticing enough.
But I agree with Jake. I think an older female leading character, because then you'd get more experience through that character.
Jane Slavin would have been good as the main lead in this. Right off the top of my head, I think she'd have been a great choice for this. Jane Slavin. And maybe Hattie Morgan as the other girl. Or even Nicola Walker. But so we all know how much I love Liv, but let's not make this robots free. But yeah, it wasn't for me.
All right. Well, what's your final score then, Jake?
I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10.
All right. So, Lee, what's your final score?
Well, Jake must have liked it more than I did. I think this is going to be one of my lowest scores of an audio. Soundscape brilliant, acting brilliant, really. But I just don't know. There's just something for me just didn't gel with it all the way through. 4.
Wow. Well, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot, and I disagree with these fellows, obviously.
If we had agreed on everything, we'd be pretty boring.
Yeah, and we'd have nothing, none of these rousing podcasts anyway. Yeah, so I guess what might we do in a while? We'll just have to let you know after this, because my idea to continue on is basically
Susan is in
dropping
shock.
that one. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to The Human Frontier. Tell us what you think below, what your comments are. And also, please keep subscribing to this channel and hit the bell if you'd like to receive a notification. And stay tuned this week. We're doing The Highlander and The Fist of the North Star, which is an anime. And please enjoy the rest of our Audio Heads podcasts. Some of them we agree more than others, and thank you, fellas, for joining me. See you soon. Bye-bye.